everybody, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for Monday the 8th of July going through until Sunday the 14th of July 2019. Thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Now I'm going to give you a day-by-day rundown of what's happening this week. The planets form relationships with each other up in the sky. They create a certain energy and we will feel that energy down here on planet Earth. So these weekly horoscopes are for all signs of the zodiac. They're for everyone who watches and they're based on UK time. Now, I've had a look at this week and it is not the easiest week in the world. There are lots of opportunities to really succeed in a profound way, but that success isn't going to come just easily. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. So you have to kind of engage with the process of this week to get the most out of it. So on Monday, the 8th of July, we have the moon going into Libra at 8 minutes past 6 in the morning, and it forms a relationship with pretty much every other planet in the sky. So the moon is the most sensitive part of who you are. It's how you feel. And Libra is a bridge. Libra is about compromise. It's about harmony. It's about being able to create an environment where everyone is happy, or at least it tries to create that environment. Now, the moon is completely overwhelmed by all of these connections that it makes, and all it can do is try and respond and react in the best way it possibly can. So you may feel that Monday things are a bit much and that it starts with, whoa, there's so much going on here. On the same day, Chiron, the wounded healer, which is one of the centaurs, and an asteroid in the sky, that goes retrograde. So it appears to be going backwards. So healing, Chiron being the wounded healer and being part of the chart where the ego tries to sabotage you, and when you work with Chiron specifically, it's a wonderful way of seeing where the ego tries to get you and where your real talent lies, because the ego wouldn't bother to sabotage you in a certain area if there wasn't something good behind that sabotage, if you see what I mean. With Chiron being in retrograde, the healing, the transformation from being wounded to being healed comes from within. So you're going to get a lot of messages externally on Monday. It's going to be really noisy around you with everyone running around here, left, right, center, up and down. And Chiron subtly, slowly goes inward. So it's almost like the sky or the planets are trying to draw your attention away from the fact that you can heal yourself by keeping you super occupied with loads and loads of stuff that's going on. So you may feel like you have to please everybody, and that in itself is overwhelming. We all know that you can't please all the people all the time. Even if you try your very best, even if you set out with the best intentions, your heart is full of love, you want to convey something that you really care about, there's going to be that one person who clicks dislike and says, no, not feeling it. So you can't base your whole life around that. You can only do as much as you can. You can try and express the things that you care about in the best way possible, and it's healthier. You don't have to do anything, but it's much easier if you leave the outcome to the universe and you let go of control. Because if you try and make everyone happy, you're setting yourself up to be wounded. So with the wounded healer in retrograde, it's possible that if something external really shocks you or surprises you or disappoints you, that you're going to internalize that pain rather than addressing it in the external sphere where it's come from. So let's say you get a letter from the bank saying you have been charged £35 because you wrote a check and the funds weren't in the account and the check bounced. Instead of going to the bank and trying to resolve it, you may internalize that and say, oh, I'm so stupid. I didn't plan ahead and I should have handed the check in a couple of days later when I knew that other money was going to clear. And I'm so unorganized and everything's my fault. So there's a potential tendency to blow things out of proportion and to really wound yourself. So make sure that you become one of your allies, not an enemy. And that self-talk is positive and not, good enough, you can't do this, on and on and on. Because healing comes from within. Do your best and realize that solving all of the world's problems is not your responsibility, nor is it reasonable to expect that you're going to solve all of your problems on Monday and everyone else's problems on Monday. If you're working in customer service or you're working with the public in some way, they are going to expect you to solve all of their problems. And you will be able to solve a lot of them, but some you won't be able to solve. Don't get yourself knotted up and twisted about the things that haven't been resolved instantly. All you can do is put in the legwork, do your best, pay attention to the task at hand, try in earnest to be of service to that person. But if it doesn't work exactly as you imagined, or if the person doesn't feel as nurtured and loved and like they've been taken care of in the way that they imagined, then let go of that and realize that it's not going to be perfect all the time and that you can only do so much. Also, be aware that some people's expectations of you may be unreasonable and heightened, and they may expect you to move mountains like that, and they may expect you to simply take a huge kind of clerical error and just make it disappear in a minute. So Monday is a challenging start to the week. Be present, take a breath, realize that you can only do so much and you can have a really good day. On Tuesday, the 9th of July, we have the Sun in Cancer, and that opposes Saturn in Capricorn. The Sun in Cancer is your identity. It's about taking care of yourself. It's about taking care of other people, enjoying the company and the presence of other people, which makes Monday even more dangerous because you're eager to please. And if people have these huge expectations, it's like, I want to help you, I want to make you happy, please let me help you be happy. And then if you can't sort everything out, there's that sense of guilt that comes along with it. So don't go down the guilt path. Guilt is a wasted emotion. The only thing that you can do is try and resolve something. If you can't change it, guilt isn't going to make it better. So as soon as you feel guilt appear during this week, Monday, Tuesday, you've fallen into the ego trap, because that's what it wants you to kind of fall into, because then you're really stuck. So the Sun opposes Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn is the astrological head teacher of the chart. When a Saturn return happens, that happens 3 times in your life, and it's the most important thing that can happen in the astrology. It happens between the ages of 28 and 29 and a half, 56 and 58, and then 84 and 86. And when a Saturn return occurs, Saturn returns to the place where it was when you were born, and it holds up a mirror to your life. And it says, this is what you're meant to be doing with your life, and this is where you're at now. And if you're off track, Saturn is ruthless. It tends to implode your life for you, and it forces you to get back on track. This once in a year opposition that we've got between the Sun and Saturn is a scrutiny of your identity and where you're at in life. It's not as hardcore as a Saturn return, which asks you, are you fulfilling your life purpose? Are you working in the right place? Are you living in the right area for you? Are you reaching the mission that you have been put on planet Earth to achieve? And that's difficult sometimes, and If it was easy, we'd all snap our fingers and achieve our soul mission at the age of 15, but it's not that easy. That's why sometimes we struggle, and that's why for a lot of people the ages of 28 to 30 can be really life-changing and difficult, and that's where you grow up in a sense. So the opposition between the Sun and Saturn means that they're 180 degrees apart from each other, and Saturn has the Sun in its sights, and the Sun is your identity. It's what fulfills you and gives you energy, and Saturn is judging the Sun, and it's saying, are you doing the right things? And Saturn can be a little bit tough. So if Saturn feels that you're working in a way that is inappropriate or that's not right, you're going to feel that internally. You're going to feel really off. You're going to feel like the rug is being pulled out from under you. There may be a sense of floating anxiety. It's like, ooh, what's going on now? I didn't expect this. The Libra moon sextiles Jupiter and Sagittarius. So the moon is still about building bridges and making connections. And a sextile is a happy relationship with the good luck planet Jupiter in Sagittarius. And it says, gallop away and explore, and don't only build bridges between you and other people, build bridges between you and the world and the higher realms. That's how you're going to experience good luck. It squares the Sun in Cancer. So, do I take care of other people or do I take care of myself? It also squares Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn. So Libra is really, again, under pressure, and it's being asked, are you working in the way that you're supposed to be working? Are you making the transformation in your own life happen in a way that it's supposed to happen? Or are you people-pleasing, and are you running around compromising all the time? So you really can't win in a way, because if you're trying to make other people happy, and they do have these huge expectations of you this week, like I said, then you're going to try and satisfy other people, and even then you're not going to make all the people happy all the time. But astrologically, Saturn is going to say, hang on a minute, you're supposed to be taking care of yourself and your working life and sorting out your life purpose, and why are you not doing that? Why are you taking care of all of these other people who really don't offer you anything? Then you're going to feel even worse, and you're going to be like, oh my god, I've been wasting my time helping all these people who aren't grateful anyway. I should be focusing on taking care of myself and making my life better. So as you can see, we're dealing with big themes. It's like, wow, like fundamental truths about who you are, and we're tapping into that, and at the same time we've got all of these distractions trying to pull us away from it. So the Sun and Saturn opposition is once in a year opposition, and it's between your identity and the authority figures of the world, or the authority of the universe, so to speak. It can also be people in positions of power may start to look at you. That's how it could manifest. So it doesn't always have to be this inner sense of, are you in the right place? It can be an actual person like your father or your mother or your boss saying, you are falling short in terms of what we have hired you to do and what we expect of you. So that can be a tough experience. On the other hand, if you're exceeding expectations, if you're doing really well, it can be a very positive experience. So rather than positioning yourself against authority, work with authority. Offer yourself a way to nurture yourself and other people by charming authority, so that you kind of get it to support you and that you feel it's on your side. And you may be able to build a bridge between yourself and what you need and what you care about, and you're able to work with authority and say, yes, I am going to comply and cooperate. I want to meet your needs and make you happy, and I'm going to do my very best to do that, because I know in terms of a spiritual astrological sense, Saturn is only harsh because it wants to see you settled and secure. That's often why parents come across as strict and unfeeling sometimes when their children tell them that, you know, like a child with a 160 IQ who's aced chemistry and astronomy and mathematics, and then they tell you that I'm going to be a comedian, that some parents have that really cold reaction of saying, wow, we wish you weren't going to be a comedian because we worry about you being independent, and we want you to have a good, stable, structured life, and we want you to be able to take care of yourself independently in terms of your finances and to thrive and to do well. And comedy is a very, very uncertain profession. Only a fraction of people make it, and you're really intelligent, and you could be working for NASA, and you could be a researcher and really doing something more meaningful. That person, though, who wants to be the comedian also has a duty to themselves to follow their heart's desire and to do what they want to do. So as you can see, these are all themes and topics which are kind of difficult and kind of challenging, and the best way forward is to align yourself with this sense of this is what is expected of me, while also taking into account this is what I want. How can we find a middle ground so that we're moving forward with authority supporting me and me getting what I want as well, and making progress in that sense. If you feel like you're totally pushing against what the powers that be are saying, whether it's this internal sense or whether it is another person, then you're making life harder for yourself. And it's also a good indicator that you're off track, because Saturn return, if you've had a Saturn return or you've got one coming up, it's a really good time to have a reading, because Saturn return is hard and tough because it wants the best for you. It's not because it tries to sabotage you or make your life miserable. It wants you to do the things that you've been naturally gifted with doing, so you've got the natural talent to do it, and it's when you use your natural talents that you really do thrive and succeed. On Wednesday, the 10th of July, the moon goes into Scorpio at 9:30 in the morning, so you become more interested in the emotions, in getting to the true emotional reasons behind the things that you're doing, rather than focusing so much on other people and compromising. So you're less interested in if other people are, you know, shouting at you and demanding things. You're going to be like, okay, well, I need to take care of myself first, and then we will sort you out. No worries. Whereas Libra can tend to rip itself apart in this process of trying to make everyone happy. So the Scorpio moon then trines Venus in Cancer. Venus, Aphrodite, the planet of love and beauty, in Cancer is very nurturing. And the Scorpio moon is also very intense and very emotionally intelligent. They oppose Uranus and Taurus, so chaos in a physical sense. So we've got emotional organization, love, nurture, care, versus all of the mess out there happening in the world. And that seems to be the kind of the theme here this week, that I want to maintain this inner sense of tranquility and this path that I know is right and a way forward, and the outside world doesn't seem to be playing along this week, and it's kind of against me in a way. The sun is in Cancer. Also, your identity still is about nurturing yourself and other people, and that trines Neptune, the water planet, in Pisces, And the water planet is all about the imagination and the intuition and a whole planet of feeling. And a trine means that the Sun and Neptune, they blend their energies together. So your identity is a whole world of care and nurture and the desire to make other people feel good. But Cancer is better in the sense of taking care of yourself than Libra is, because Libra is going to put everyone else before itself. Cancer also does that. It puts the family first and other people's well-being. But Cancer also recognizes to some degree that charity begins at home, and that if you don't take care of yourself and you've got nothing to give, then you're not going to be in a position to help other people. So on Wednesday, you want to make things nice. You want pleasant, conflict-free interactions with those around you, and you want to feel safe within yourself. Anything that feels risky or that's likely to burst your bubble of tranquility is going to seem dangerous, and you'll want to avoid it and stay away from it. So realize that you are safe, and regardless of what happens, if the outside world does intrude on your happy little harmonious tranquility bubble, then you're able to handle that situation and deal with it. Don't panic, don't freak. On Thursday, the 11th of July, we've still got the Sun in Cancer trining Neptune in Pisces, so we've still got this huge sense of, I need to love myself, I need to be loving, I need to take care of myself and other people. That is my responsibility. Whereas other times you could care less, right? Sometimes it's like, I want to travel, that's my responsibility. My responsibility right now is to have fun and to travel and to go out and go to the beach. Here with the Sun in Cancer and the Neptune trine, you feel like it's your responsibility to get in touch with your feelings and to take care of yourself and others. Mars is in Leo, so Mars, the male principle, is in the sign of the lion. It's big, it's loud. And that trines Chiron in Aries. So Chiron is the wounded healer. It's in retrograde, remember, so the healing comes from within. And Mars, this masculine principle, is saying, let's roar, let's show our power. So Mars is instrumental in healing you here by showing you how strong you are. And if there are opportunities on Thursday to exercise your strength or to demonstrate your strength, that's something that you'll emotionally make note of and say, hey, actually I'm very good at this and I can put this pain to rest, to bed. I don't need to feel bad about that anymore. So for instance, if you make a wonderful public announcement and you motivate people and you really get them going, and you always felt less than, and you always felt like, I am not as good as other people when it comes to presence and creating an aura of strength and motivation. And when you prove that to yourself on days like Thursday, you make an emotional note that I am actually healed in that area. I don't need to be ashamed. I can speak to people. I can motivate them. I do have that talent within me. Mars in Leo squares Uranus and Taurus. So again, there's this sense of my power, my sense of confidence, my passions, my desire, versus the chaos in the outside world. So it seems like there's a huge sense of duality this week between the inner and the outer. And remember that planet Earth is an illusion. And what you think and what you believe and what you feel about yourself, that's what becomes real. So if everything seems to be against you this week, the way to sort that out is not to fight for peace, but the way to sort it out is to go within and to heal yourself and to naturally allow the world to reflect that, so it is on your side naturally and that the external circumstances begin to change. So if things are tough externally, I would not recommend that you tackle them head on and that you get into big conflicts and big arguments. I would say that it's much more helpful to go within and to go the Chiron in Aries and retrograde route, and to say, I'm going to heal myself, and that then is going to have a positive effect on the world that I experience and that I live in. The moon in Scorpio trines the sun in Cancer. So harmony between the way you feel and your identity, very much about water, very much about using your imagination, being connected to spirit, being connected with creative drives and the desire, obviously, to take care of people. It also trines Neptune in Pisces, and it sextiles Saturn in Capricorn. So Thursday, like Wednesday, you will still want to stay away from nasty, tough reality. So you retreat into fantasy land a little bit. Be careful not to lose your temper or to lose your cool when you're forced to face an unpleasant truth, either on Wednesday or Thursday. Like I said before, try not to get into these huge conflicts if you can avoid them. If you have to, then try and minimize them and try and heal them from the source, which is you, rather than seeing it as real in the external world. So ask for help from the universe and work with it best that you can. The more kind of manifestation work you put in, the more solid the outcome is going to be. And dealing with something unpleasant in a kind of calm, quiet way is actually going to help you build a foundation internally on which you can build more positive things that are coming your way in future. So sometimes things have to be unpleasant for you to realize that, wow, this is what I'm manifesting, this is what's going on at the moment. I'm going to take a step back, I'm going to reevaluate the way I think and the way I think about the world and the way I see the world. I'm going to give myself a clean slate here, and I'm going to see the world differently. The world is my oyster. I am loved and loving. When I try something, I win and succeed. I am a perfect child of the universe. When I work at something, it becomes an empire of wealth, abundance, and prosperity. Positive affirmations are really, really helpful, especially in the face of negative circumstances. And pull back, use these positive affirmations, and these negative things that may be floating around this week can be the catalyst for you to actually start using affirmations in a consistent way and building a positive, consistent future. You see what I mean? Friday the 12th of July, we've got the moon moving into Sagittarius at 6 minutes past 3 in the afternoon. So the moon in Sagittarius is much more fun-loving, it's much more adventurous. It's about, let's gallop forward and find our pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And it's excited in exploring the world in a physical sense, but also in a spiritual sense. So it can gallop off into the higher realms. And also, let's go to Canada. let's go see Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. You know, let's do stuff. The Sagittarius moon then trines Mercury in Leo. Mercury is the communication planet. It's in retrograde at the moment. It's in retrograde from the 7th of July until the 31st of July. I've done the monthly horoscopes for July. They were a little bit late. But in the monthly horoscopes, I tell you where, in what house Mercury is in retrograde in. So it will show you and tell you in what area of your life communication is going to be most difficult. So if Mercury is in retrograde in your 4th house, it's likely that the greatest miscommunications and errors in communication are going to be in your family sector. So watch the monthly horoscopes for your sun sign first. So if you're a Scorpio sun, watch the Scorpio one first. If you're a Virgo rising, watch the Virgo one second. And if you want even more information, although I think the first two suffice, then watch the one for your moon sign. So if you're a Capricorn moon, then watch Capricorn third. The Sagittarius moon not only trines Mercury in Leo, but also Chiron in Aries, and Mars in Leo. So Friday is fire, 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 fire. So Friday is really time to have fun. It is the most fun day of the week. There may still be external issues and things going on, and you may feel like the world is putting up barriers and it's against you and it's keeping you in this negative space. But you can rally against that today and find ways around that, and you can find ways not to just sit there and shake your fist at the sky and say, oh, I'm so dissatisfied. You can find your way around that and enjoy yourself. So instead of getting mad and angry at what you haven't gotten, what you can't do today, keep it very simple and enjoy the simple pleasures in life that you can access, rather than trying to get these elaborate operations going. But just make sure that whatever you end up doing, that you reward yourself for a really tough week, which has taught you a lot about yourself, and that you've navigated very well, and that you've treated with, or that you've navigated with kind of conscious awareness. Because if something is happening in your external life, rather than just getting hooked into that and buying it and saying, okay, the bank is after me, you're seeing that as, okay, here's a manifestation of negativity in my life. I'm going within, I'm using positive affirmations to resolve that and to build a more positive future. And that is really disciplined, and that's a very mature and grown-up way of seeing things. So rather than believing everything that shows up in your life, you choose to create the world rather than react to the world. And that's how you build your life, rather than just accept what life throws at you. On Saturday the 13th of July, we've got the Sagittarius moon trining Mars in Leo, so we've got more fire, this huge motivation to get going and to have fun and to be confident. It conjuncts Jupiter in Sagittarius, the good luck planet in the fire sign of Sagittarius, and they square Neptune in Pisces. So fire versus water, and Saturday the 13th is the best day of the week. So today is the day to go on that elaborate adventure that wasn't so easy to create and organize on Friday. And Saturday is also a wonderful time to experience good luck in romance. You're able to have fun, or you're able to take part in something unexpected that turns out to bring you a lot of joy. So maybe you're walking along a city street, and suddenly you walk into this competition where people are painting a quilt on a wall, and each person gets given a square, and you have to fill out that square with your idea of what you think should be there. And then at the end of the 2 hours, they have a little unveiling ceremony, and they decide which square wins a little prize. Things like that happen. So you can stumble across something really lovely and positive like that. That's just an example, but something unexpected that enriches your life and that brings an element of fun into your life. So it's a day of dreams coming true, but it is dependent on you actually going out and getting them and pursuing your hopes and dreams. And that's a big ask, because after this week you may be a little bit tired. And you may feel like, do you know what, things haven't gone my way today, and I'm just going to chill at home on Saturday. I'm just going to decompress, and I'm just going to let things go by and, you know, watch the clouds roll along. But it's important to really embrace life and not to just check out on Saturday, because Saturday is the best day of the week in terms of good luck and good fortune. Finally, on Sunday the 14th of July, we have the moon going into Capricorn, the sign of the worker, at 6 minutes past 11 in the evening. So it's still in Sagittarius for most of Sunday, for like 23 hours of it, okay? So Sagittarius is about fire, exploring, having fun. The moon quincunxes Mercury in Leo, so the communication planet in retrograde in a fire sign, so they get on. The sun is in Cancer, taking care of yourself and other people, and that opposes Pluto, in Capricorn. So that's a difficult opposition, the same way the Saturn opposition on Tuesday was difficult, because Pluto is an outer planet and it asks, are you making the necessary changes to transform your life for the better? These are all really adult questions, you know? Like, if you're happy-go-lucky and you traipse along your life and you're getting a job and you're seeing someone and you're doing the best you can, you may think like, hang on a minute, why is it down to me to have this big life plan? Why is it up to me to transform my circumstances and myself and other people? Am I not cool just being the way I am? What's going on here? And the answer is that the universe expects quite a lot of you, and that you have chosen to come to planet Earth not just to be the same person at 5 and at 85, but to develop and to transform and to change and to grow spiritually. And that's why these planets sometimes give you such a hard time. And that's why life throws these things at us, because it wants us to grow and it wants us to succeed. And I'm just getting this horrible saying in my mind, which is, God never gives us more than we can handle. And I really don't like that saying, because sometimes it's pretty on the edge of what we have to deal with that we can handle. But again, another cliche, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And as Carrie Fisher says, what does kill you makes you really, really strong. So I mentioned her in the Daily Tarot reading as well. She ended up in a mental hospital, and she felt like she lost her mind and she died. And when she came out of the mental hospital, she's like, I can handle anything now because I've died. And I think you watching and me saying this, we have all had experience where we're like, okay, I am now in a situation where everything I've known up until now and everything that I've relied on and thought was mine is dead and gone, and it's just me now, and it's up to me what's going to happen. And those are the moments that feel super real, but those are the moments where grit comes in and where you're able to say, okay, am I going to grow and develop, or am I going to retreat and run back home, or get someone to take care of me, or am I going to face this head on and develop as a person? So Sunday isn't another easy day. It's the opposition between Sun and Pluto that may give you a sense that you're not transforming enough, that you haven't achieved enough on your path, and that you need to make changes quickly and in a meaningful way, and that you're kind of behind. Now realize again that you're doing the best you can, and if the universe wants you to change, don't take all the blame and the guilt and the responsibility. Say, well, where are the instructions? Hello? I've not been given a manual for living, and if you want me to develop and if you want me to change as a spiritual being, then please support me. I can't do it all by myself. It's really important to ask for guidance and to ask for help. And if your guides are giving you messages that are super cryptic and difficult to understand, then you can say, can you give me some guidance that I actually understand, please? Because all of this gibberish that you're giving me, I don't get. And some of you may think, wow, that's really disrespectful. But if you have a dialogue with your higher power, then you've got to be able to speak your truth, and you've got to be able to say, thank you for the sign, but I really don't get what it means. Am I missing something? It's gone whoosh, way over my head. So on Sunday, focus on your progress. Make sure that you don't compare yourself with others. Because first of all, your perspective is off with Mercury being in retrograde. And second of all, comparing your journey and your path and your success with other people is always going to make you miserable. Because there's always someone out there who's more beautiful, who's more successful, who's richer, who's more popular, who's more articulate, who's more intelligent, who's more. Always. It's a day for focusing on your own achievements, giving yourself a pat on the back for them, first of all, and celebrating where you've got to in life without comparing yourself to other people, and asking your guides and your higher self for actual guidance that you can implement if you're getting that gnawing internal sense of something needs to change. If you don't have that feeling, that's fine, then celebrate and use the day to just really celebrate your achievements. But if you do get that sense of it's not enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not enough, I haven't done enough, then ask the universe, okay, I get it, I hear you. Give me the, pass me a note under the door so that I know what step to take next. Left foot, right foot. Give me guidance that I can grow and develop in the way that you want me to. So it's not a light week, is it, from listening to that? It's not fluffy and traipsing around and candy corn and candy floss. It's fundamentals and truths about yourself, especially Tuesday with the Sun and Saturn opposition, and then Sunday with the Sun and Pluto opposition. They're really honing in on your identity, and the question is, am I enough? And no one likes that. No one likes looking at themselves that way. We all hide from that in a way. That's the worst question you can ask anyone, really. So be brave and be willing to change and be willing to go on this path that's sometimes lonely and that you have to figure out on yourself. And remember to ask for help and celebrate how far you've come already, and that you're actually even bothering with this. Some people don't. Some people are like, oh, I feel horrible today, let's take a pill and numb this out. Oh nice, quiet, boom, gone. And you're not doing that. You're working with the energy so that you can grow, and that in itself is worth celebrating and being proud of. So be proud of yourself this week. Have a wonderful week. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. In my personal readings, I use astrology, tarot, and numerology. I combine all three. I draw up your natal chart by looking at your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification with me, please. That's a process where you give me 10 major life events. The more personal, the better. All confidential. I don't pass them on to anybody. And I'm able to work out the exact time of birth that you were born on that day. Once I have that, I can draw up your birth chart. I can see everything about you, what your vocational aptitudes are, where you've been in past lifetimes and why you've come into this lifetime, and what you're trying to achieve, what your life purpose is, what your soul mission is. I can see what your strengths and weaknesses are, where karma has kind of blessed you, whether relationships are just going to come easily, or whether you're always going to be supported financially, or whether moving is something that comes very easily. And also where the ego tries to, hold you back so that you don't succeed, and how to minimize the influence of the ego and how to bring out the best in you. If you have any questions, any weird, obscure, really bizarre questions, feel free to get in touch for a personal reading. I can answer any question you have via these divination systems. And because I'm an intuitive astrologer and intuitive tarot reader, I don't just go with the systems, but they open a doorway into my intuition, and that's how I also get answers for you. So that's how I connect with my higher power, my higher self, and they give me the information that you need. So have a wonderful week. I look forward to hearing from you. If you like the video, then please hit the subscribe button and also share it online. That would really be helpful. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll speak to you next week.